going on, everybody? Thank you so much for coming back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about Downton Abbey. I'm really happy to say that I have my mom with me in this video. Thank you for joining me for this video, Mama.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we're going to be talking about Downton Abbey, the film, the 2019 theatrical release, which is the follow-up to the TV series of the exact same name, which is a British drama period piece. It's really, really good. My mom is the one who got me into it. You know, it's just one of those shows that I had seen and kind of heard about, but I wasn't really crazy about watching. But yeah, she told me to watch it. I finished watching it about 2 years ago at this point, but she's been a fan since the very beginning and watched it throughout its years on TV and continues to watch it. What is it about the show that really just makes these characters in this world super exciting for you?
Well, for me, the fact that there's just so much trash on television, to be honest, to see a show that represents the rich and the poor. I'm not sure how much of it you know, but I'm sure you'll get into that. But just the fact that it's a clean show, that it's entertaining, the acting is phenomenal.
It really is.
The writing is just outstanding. It's like one of my favorite time periods. Pride and Prejudice, Jane Austen, so anything in that era just really, I just love because of the gowns and the costumes, just everything.
For sure. And so for any of you who do not know what this show is about, the basic idea is it follows this pretty popular and wealthy family back in the day in that time period. What's the year range that this show takes place in?
Well, it starts off with the day after the Titanic sank.
The Titanic sank, yeah. So I don't know the exact
Early
year.
1900s.
Early 1900s, exactly. But you know, in that time, especially a lot of families of that ilk and of that time were, you know, they had their servants that lived in the house, their butlers, their maids, their footmen, all these different kinds of things. And so those people would typically live in the house, but beneath the house and like almost in the basement kind of thing. And yeah, this is just a drama show about this family, their life, the different things that they go through, the different struggles, internal struggles, you know, their place in the world, you know, being this really wealthy and popular family, and at the same time having to deal with the relationships that come into the mix with the people that live down below their home. And there's a really good mix of like humor and drama and really serious elements and really fun and funny elements. And it's a show that when I started watching it, I just really didn't expect myself to get so into it, but I'm really glad that you actually pushed me to watch it because I really, really do enjoy it.
And into the characters, because the character development is ridiculous. It's very slow, it's very gradual. You get to fall in love with the characters. Another piece that I love is that even though you have this big, very rich aristocrat family, they treat their servants like family. There is still like that line in the sand when, you know, somebody crosses it, it's just like, let's not get it twisted, like they say. Yeah. But they do treat them like family. I mean, the butler has been around since the girls were born, and so they just have this, I don't know, they just don't treat them like servants.
That's something that, yeah, I'm glad you actually brought that up, because in the show, which I do plan on doing like a more full in-depth review about, maybe you can join me again for whenever I do that video, but that's something I really love about the show, is that you do come across these other families that are of the similar kind of status that they are at, and you see the way that they treat their servants and their, you know, maids and their butlers compared to how the main family in this show does. And yeah, it's just a really good show. I highly recommend it. She highly recommends it. You know, I think it's a little slow for some people who are maybe not into those kinds of shows. I think, you know, watch a trailer and you'd kind of get a vibe of what kind of show it is. And that may be for some people, it may not be for others, but all in all, yeah, I think it's just a really great show. It's incredibly well acted, really well put together. The cinematography is fantastic. The set design, the costume design,
the music.
Yeah, the music. It just from a technical standpoint, objectively, I think that there is really no way you can say that this is a bad show. I think the only way that you would ever dislike this show is if it just bored you a little bit or if it wasn't your cup of tea. But objectively, from an artistic standpoint, it's solid, 100, like completely around.
Because that's one of the things that I posted yesterday right before we went to the movie. I specifically said, even if you feel that this is not something that you'd be interested in or your cup of tea, because I think those were my exact words, give it a shot. Because again, the acting and the writing will blow your mind. And it's just like, you'd be surprised, just like you were, how involved you were and how much you miss the characters once you're done with the seasons. It's just really a brilliant show, and I'm actually looking forward to other projects that Julian Fellows is working on right now.
All in all, the show is just so well-rounded, and yeah, let's start talking about the movie now. And so this movie is a continuation to that series, and I think this is a situation that we all, at least for me, there's so many shows I would love to see them do something like this with. This is a theatrical, you know, more high budget version of the television show. It stays very true to the TV show, the way it is, the way it feels, the way it looks, the feel, the vibe, the overall performances. But this is a continuation. This film 100% is not for the casual moviegoer who's like, oh, let me go check out this movie. This was not made to try to pull in new eyes to Downton Abbey. Maybe it probably will, but I think that you can't really enjoy this movie to its full extent without having watched the television show. And there's not a lot of shows that will do that, you know. Like a show for me like The Office, if The Office came back with some sort of like movie type of, you know, continuation, show us where these characters have been, because how long has Downton Abbey been off of the air now?
God, like 5-6 years now, maybe.
So I only stopped watching it 2 years ago, and I watched it in its entirety at the time. And I know you've been away for a long time. So to see these characters in this world come back, even for me after 2 years of having finished the show, and then for you, even more so, it was definitely really exciting. It was, you know, a really good time, like leading up to it, all the marketing. I was just really shocked that a show like Downton Abbey, out of all of them, would be the one to get a theatrical release that'd be coming to theaters, that would expand on the TV show, follow the narrative. They speak in the show and just kind of do things as if you have seen everything. And I love that they didn't try to sit here and explain everything to casual moviegoers, because they knew that the people who are really going to come on to see this are the people that are the real fans. Exactly.
And they gave us a lot for this, to be quite honest, because not only did we have the seasons, but after so many years, they gave us the what is it called? Like the museum, the presentation. What was it that I went to? It basically showed like all of the props from the show. It showed all the costumes, the actual room sets that they rebuilt. So it's like a traveling exhibit. To see the exhibit and then less than a year later, you get a whole movie. Because honestly, there are a lot of shows that get canceled and you are like, can you just come back with at least one more season to wrap it up? But this one, I felt even in the closing seasons, they really didn't rush it. I think they gave us a proper ending, but they still kind of wanted to touch on some of the characters that maybe didn't have like the best ending for them. So this was like a final, and even still, I don't know that it's the final. To me, Downton Abbey is so big. A lot of people just don't realize how big it is, but I still have a feeling that it might come back.
Yeah, and that was one of the coolest parts about going to see this movie for me, was the whole place was full. Like you could just see that there was a really rabid fan base. We saw it at the fan event. Obviously, you can probably tell, because if you're watching this and you are a fan of Downton Abbey and you're thinking, the movie hasn't come out already, we got to see it a week early thanks to a fan event at our local theater. And thanks again for inviting me, Mom. I didn't even know that it was happening, but yeah, being able to watch it with an audience was so good, because it's one thing when you're watching it on your own and you laugh at these little moments or you get these little feelings of excitement, but then to actually be able to watch it and have the people react the same way that you're feeling on the inside, it just made those moments just so much better, and it just all felt like we were part of an experience. And I think that that's the best thing. It's kind of like when you go to watch a new Star Wars or a new Harry Potter and something like that. Like you're there with the fans on that first fan event kind of opening night, and that was definitely an experience. And to have it with a show like this, it's just beautiful. You just don't have that ever happen, you know. So
it's like the oohs, the ahs, and the laughter, like we're in unison. That was just pretty awesome.
But yeah, it was a really good time. But let's talk just kind of like our thoughts on the film itself. For me, I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. But for me, my main criticism, and I talked to you about this last night after we saw the movie, was that I felt like it was about like 3 episodes of the TV show crammed into one. There were some things that felt a little undercooked for me, a little just kind of rushed, and a few things that felt why is it there? Like there were a few things. There was specifically a villain-esque character throughout the film that in the first act that felt very pointless to me. That whole sequence with this villain-esque character just felt pointless. Like it didn't lead to anything, and for me, it just took away from the screen time, because I was trying to review this as, you know, just a film itself, just the 3-act structure that you expect in storytelling when it comes to movies. But on an overall basis, I really enjoyed this movie. I had a good time with it. Again, it's just like the TV show, but just with a bigger budget. So to be able to see the costume design again, the performances were once again incredible. The characters are so well done, and to see them again, every single scene with all these characters that are beloved from the TV show were great. Like there wasn't a single scene in the show that for me was poor. I just felt like there were some things that were rushed, or some things that just felt like they didn't need to be there for the runtime of this film. And they really do, like you mentioned, they leave you with open kind of storytelling, that there's more they can do.
A little more expectation at the end, that it's just like, wait a minute, this is not final.
Yeah.
There might be something else coming. The one thing I will say is that if you've not seen the movie, see the show, and you want to go see the movie, and you think, oh, I'll go see the movie like Rogue One or another Star Wars movie that, you think, oh, I don't really need to see the prequels that's not going to happen here, because they really give you like a 3-minute like overview of the entire series. So that's like spoilerific. Don't go see the movie unless you're ready to have everything kind of like cliff notes for you at the beginning of the movie. But Maggie Smith, hilarious. Her role is just unbelievably hysterical.
Yeah, I don't think anybody else could play the role that Maggie Smith plays in this show. Such a charming and funny actress, and she just brings so much genuine humor. It's not even the lines that she's saying, it's how she's saying it, the emphasis on the words, and yeah, it's just easily. I really enjoyed the film. I give it a really high praise. However, you enjoyed the film a lot more. So what were you feeling throughout it? Obviously, you have a deeper attachment to the show and these characters.
Yeah, well, I've rewatched the entire series a couple times already, so I'm like incredibly in love with the characters. So honestly, the opening scene, the music, like I felt like I was gonna cry. I was so happy to be there. There were a couple pieces that probably could have like not been there. But when we got towards the end, we realized that a particular person, mentioned something about that.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they did that to lead it. I feel that they maybe could have done something else to capture that person's attention. But all in all, I was in love with everything. Like, it's Downton Abbey. To me, there is no fault. I know that it seemed like 3 episodes to you.
Yeah.
But to me, it was just like a gift to the fans, saying, we know that you're still out there. This is for you. This is what everybody's doing. This is how everyone's progressed.
Yeah.
And this is the possible future. Because like I said, it doesn't feel like it ended.
Not even a little bit.
I feel like the show could even come back. Like, look at 90210. I feel like in 5-10 years, Julian Fellows could be like, you know what? Let's give you a couple more seasons. Or let's just come back now with maybe the descendants of the main, family.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was in love with everything, and the music was just outstanding.
Yeah,
so.
they really nailed it. They really did a great job, and like you said, I think the one thing I can definitely not deny, whether I'm critiquing certain things or not, is the fact that it was made for the fans. Mm-hmm. These little moments that they did give these characters that maybe, like you said, the original series ended very well, and they give us a very good, touching ending, but at the same time, they kind of leave a few things open. They kind of leave certain things up in the air as far as the directions that they can go. And they kind of leave you with an ending of like, man, this show could keep on going, but I enjoyed that ending.
Yeah.
And so to be able to see some of these characters get those moments that you were hoping to see in the finale of the last one was really awesome. But yeah, like I was half expecting the movie to end and going to the credits and be like, Downton Abbey will be returning. And
it pretty much felt like that, yeah.
That's what I was almost expecting that would happen in the credits, because they do leave you with some very interesting story beats that you would love to see play out, and cliffhanger elements, you know what I mean? And so I don't think it was like a full cliffhanger kind of thing. Like if the series was to have ended here, I don't think it would hurt the series finale of the TV show.
At all.
But I think that they definitely left you with some really open questions that they could really explore more, and I think that all the fans that were in there were definitely excited if that was to ever happen.
Oh, I would never be opposed. I could this show could go on forever.
Yeah.
Honestly, because, and that's what I was hoping when it ended. I know that it had a lot more to do with the owners of the actual estate, the wear and tear, because there is a lord and a lady that live there, and so this has been in their family for centuries. So there was a little bit of wear and tear to their property. So I feel that if that family ever opens their door again, then for sure, Julian Fellows will probably be in there. But it's like there's nothing more you can do. There's not a real set that you can build to kind of
replicate.
At all.
No way.
And I respect the fact that they wanted to keep it so authentic that they rather end it on a high note than kind of like try to, say, okay, this family now needs to move to a different house and we're going to. So I respect the fact that for the fans' sake that they kept it as beautiful as they did. But again, starting in the early 1900s, they had so much history to cover. Fingers crossed that they come back, honestly.
Yeah, I really hope they do. All in all, I think we both agree this was a really good movie. We have our criticisms, but on the overall level, I think for me, similar to the TV show, kind of hard to deny objectively that any of the technical elements of the film are weak, because it is incredibly well shot, incredibly well acted. The set design is fantastic. The costume design is fantastic. from an artistic standpoint, it is incredibly well put together.
It's beautiful.
There were some story beats and some storytelling elements that I would say were some negatives, but I think that that's because it's a movie, whereas I'm used to watching these characters in a TV format where there's going to be another episode right after, you know, and so to not have certain closure on certain things or have some things feel rushed because it's a film kind of bothered me, but I know it didn't bother you as much.
Not at all.
I really enjoyed it though. I highly recommend it. If you're a fan of the TV show, maybe you stopped halfway through, maybe you kept on going, maybe you go back, rewatch it, catch up, and go watch this movie. And if you have never seen Downton Abbey, or maybe even never heard about it, but
give it a shot.
Exactly, give it a shot. If you trust my word at all, go check it out. Watch the TV show and go check out the movie, because it really is a really well put together, well thought out show, and there's a lot of heart and charm put into it.
Yeah,
100%.
and historically correct, because the things that happen that occur in that timeline are correct. I mean, they didn't play around with history.
Yeah.
The events that happened during that time period. I mean, look it up. It's exactly the way it occurred, and it's just one aristocrat family's reality while these things are happening. So now I want to watch the show again.
Yeah, no, it's really good. I'm going to actually be rewatching it very soon because Haley has never seen it. So I'm really excited to show her that show because she wanted to see the movie with us, but you know, she just doesn't.
I'm glad she didn't go.
Yeah, I'm glad she didn't go either because like my mom mentioned, there's a recap at the beginning where two of the actors from the show end up giving you like probably about a good 5-minute recap of all the big plot points that happened. So you're caught up just in case maybe you haven't watched it in a while, which was nice as a refresher for myself walking in. But yeah, it was definitely spoiler material for anybody else. But yeah, guys, that's going to be my thoughts on the movie. Any last thoughts you want to give on it?
Nope.
I appreciate you doing this with me, Mom. Thank you so much.
for inviting me.
Yeah, this will be a lot of fun. I'll have her in other videos in the future. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you guys hit that like button if you enjoyed this video. Make sure you guys comment down below your thoughts on this show, on this movie, if you've checked it out. Are you interested in checking it out? Are you interested in checking out the show after this review? Let me know all that down below in the comments, guys. And I will see all of you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.